Members of the jury. Hi, my name is Kevin Kalish, and I am the Vice President of R&D with Enclear Therapies. I'm here today to talk about our therapeutic solutions for ALS and PSP. Who are we? We're an early-stage biotech company, neurologically focused, and we're looking at two specific things. One is we're going to remove toxic proteins from to treat neurodegenerative diseases, and second, we are creating a device to provide closed-loop delivery and monitoring of CSF. Our first products will focus on improving the lives of patients with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS, and progressive supranuclear palsy, or PSP. For the purposes of this, I'm going to talk primarily about ALS. And we recently, earlier this month, closed a $2 million seed round. In patients with ALS, there's a well-known progression of the disease. First, they become symptomatic, early symptoms, muscle weakness, fatigue, things of that nature, and it typically takes about a year for them to get a proper diagnosis. After a year, they get diagnosed. A year later, they're wheelchair-bound. A year later, they're bedridden, and a year later, they pass away. So over 4 years. Our mission at Enclear is to meaningfully inflect the curve at the point of diagnosis for these patients suffering neurodegenerative diseases. The largest familial group of patients suffering from ALS has a genetic mutation, C9orf72, which results in the generation of toxic proteins. And these toxic proteins are dipeptide repeats, or DPRs. These DPRs accumulate in the brain and the CSF, and over time that leads to the pathology of the disease. We have developed a proprietary method which will treat these DPRs, render them non-toxic, and in theory, as we believe, will slow and potentially halt the progression of these diseases. So far, we've completed a proof of concept, which has been identified and validated that we can destroy these DPRs and do so without harming human neurons. We currently have several provisional patents covering this method. In order for our method to work, we have a extracorporeal CSF system that we are developing as well, with an ultimate goal of going implantable. This system, it's leveraging standard surgical techniques that exist today for accessing the left lateral ventricle of the brain, as well as the lumbar spine. And then we're incorporating our proprietary method, along with a pump and a port, to create this dynamic. Since we're going to have continual access to the CSF, there are obvious benefits beyond this therapeutic, areas such as pharmaceutical for large molecule drug delivery, as well as in diagnostics. We have assembled a team of experts with lots of experience in medical devices, as well as biologics, clinical, and passionate surgeon advocates who will bring the expertise needed to solve these very technical challenges. So overall, we have, we believe, a short timeline with some enormous opportunities. We have some key strategic advantages. We're a device company. We're targeting orphan diseases, and these orphan diseases have no or very little long-term effective alternatives to care. This enables us to go with a regulatory pathway, which we believe of HDE, which should enable us to take our technology to patients meaningfully in 2 years. We also believe after that we can get acute human clinical data in 3 years. The diseases are well understood, and we can test and vet this out pretty quickly. Also, the market for the space is between $2 and $3 billion for ALS and PSP, with some reimbursement channels similar for other large implantable devices. But it all comes back to our mission, which is to meaningfully inflect the curve to extend the lives of patients suffering neurodegenerative disease. Thank you.
Very much enjoyed your presentation. Just have a couple of questions regarding this process. You mentioned it's a 3-year process and about $1.2 billion based on capturing all 4,000 patients with this gene mutation. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me, one, in the cost, did you assess the maintenance for this device over 3 years? Because the durability isn't great always. And number two, as you'll probably need a physician to implant this, have you discussed any possible reimbursement for the clinicians? Because that might be a challenge going forward.
We are very early stage on the reimbursement. We've had some preliminary conversations on that. Things like pacemakers are probably the closest thing that exists right now. Obviously, would have to get coding and things like that. So we have not done a full deep dive into the clinician and how the full reimbursement landscape is going to look. It's a little premature for where we're at this stage, but it's certainly in the plans for early next year when we have a Series A round that's run. Can you please repeat the second part of your question?
Any sort of maintenance for this device?
Maintenance, thank you. Yes, we believe that we can develop this technology similar, like I said, to a pacemaker or drug delivery, which you have a typical 5-7 year implantable life. The types of patients that need this, if we can extend to having a reimplantation, would be amazing. That would be an amazing impact for these patients. And there will be a service model associated with this for providing a proprietary method, which is being developed right now for how to best service it. So we don't have all of that, but we are cognizant that that's a major component we need to develop. Thank you.